See, it's stuff like this that gives me trust issues.
Welcome to the Trust Issues podcast. We have trust issues with the traditional society-dictated path, with the status quo, with the whole get an education, land a job, and work tirelessly until you're 6 feet under. It's time to upgrade your life with the help of us. I'm Erica.
And I'm Kyle Auckland. We're a husband and wife duo, but we're also entrepreneurs, biohackers, and business builders.
Every week, we're dedicated to having purposeful conversations with each other and leading experts on topics like wellness, relationships, and entrepreneurship.
Subscribe to Trust Issues Podcast if you're looking for bold topics, honest dialogue, and valuable lessons. All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Trust Issues Podcast with me, Kyle Auckland, and...
Hi, I'm Erica Auckland.
Yes. And today we're doing kind of an off-the-cuff episode.
Yeah, no
right?
notes.
No notes.
We're just going to jam on.
Just kind of wing it. And why don't you tell them what our topic is here?
My favorite. We're going to talk about toxic hustle culture.
Yes.
We're going to talk about hustle. We're going to talk about the grind. We're going to talk about, I think, what our society tries to tell people is like, chill out, sit down, don't work so hard.
Yes.
And I think there's like a whole sweeping narrative right now that everyone's like, hustle is toxic.
Yes.
Is it really? Is hustle actually toxic? Let's talk about it. So we want to talk about it. We want to give our perspective as two people who do love to hustle and we do love the grind, but also we understand when you need to take a minute of rest because there's seasons.
There definitely is burnout. There definitely
it's real. We've both been there before.
Yes.
So let's talk about it.
Okay. So my personal opinion with
I'm excited to hear your opinion because I feel like I always talk and I never shut up, and you need to talk about this.
Well, okay. So the number one thing I think with any type of hustling, right, no matter what it is, you can enter a toxic situation if it's working out in your business, in your relationship, whatever it is, right?
Two sides of the same coin.
Yes. You can put way too much movement or work into something where it's like the first thing you got to start realizing is, okay, pause. If you're in a spot where you're like, my wheels are spinning constantly, I'm burnt out, I'm not producing the results, you need to pause, zoom out, and be like, why are you doing this again? What are your goals? Why are you even in this, spinning wheel of where you're at? Like, why did you get to this point? And a lot of people don't. What really happens is they hit that point and they immediately go to everyone who's either following them or around them and they go, this isn't working, I'm done, this is a waste of time. Like, this is bad, toxic, rest, and they start preaching that way, where it's like, internally deal with it first. Like, hey, why are you in this position? What are your goals?
Was it a lack of self-awareness or boundaries, maybe, perhaps?
Yes, absolutely. And I think it's like, that's where you need to start first before you kind of just turn around and say something doesn't work or this isn't going on. Because it's like, I know even for us, like, our goals change all the time.
Yeah.
And if you are crazy hustling for a goal that you're not really that as passionate about, maybe you were, that's where you can pivot.
I also feel like when you think about the bigger picture and what you're actually focused on, we're so focused on right now. We're really building. We just came out of a season of like postpartum, having our first baby, and now we're really honestly back in a very hustle energy.
A build.
We're in a build.
Yeah.
And even this show, like, let's just be serious. Like, this show, the things that have to happen for this show to happen, we got to coordinate childcare.
Yep.
We have our producers here in the room. We got Christy and Courtney.
Yes.
We have so many things that had to happen. It's a financial investment. We have so many things that we, like, on paper, for a lot of people, it wouldn't have worked out because there's a lot of obstacles or hurdles that we had to overcome to make this happen. But we knew that this was our up level.
Yes.
We knew that this is what we wanted to do in order to get to the next place in our careers and in our life. And right now it's a little grindy, we're recording 3 times this week, we're in it and I'm here for it. It's so much fun. But like, I zoom out and I'm like, what am I doing this for? I'm not doing this for fans. I'm not doing this for more recognition. I'm not doing this to be popular or famous. I'm doing this to help people.
Yes.
I'm doing this to further our goals and our dreams. I know that we want generational wealth for our family. Yep. We would also love to network with more people through this show. I'm so excited to see the people that we meet because we put ourselves out there in this way.
100%.
So it's like, if you're doing something for the wrong reasons, you're going to burn out. That is toxic.
Yes.
But if you're working hard for the right reasons, flip the narrative.
Yes.
Like, because it's worth it.
Yes. No, that everything you said right there is so good.
Well, it's like, I say this all the time, like nobody tells farmers to stop working so hard.
Yeah.
Nobody tells professional athletes.
Yep.
Did you, in your years of working with professional athletes, were any of them like, oh, this is too much hustle?
No. Never.
What was their mindset?
Their mindset is, if I do X, Y, and Z right now through the off season in this, I get a bigger contract. I get a bigger. So there was always a focus on the future. There was always a focus on like the long-term goal.
Hard work always pays off.
Yes, it does. It always pays off.
Yeah.
And
it's like,
yeah. It's funny because I even think of like from the sports world and stuff. It's like I think of like college coaches, especially like football, where it's like as soon as the season's end, like most college coaches, you'll see guys leave, go take another position. Go, like the head coach, literally that turnaround after a season, they're going right into recruiting.
dude,
They don't stop. They don't. It's a year-round process of like, okay, this is over. Now we need a next wave of greatness. We got to go find those guys.
Yes.
So it doesn't stop. Like some of the most like predominant positions everywhere all over the world are positions where you do not turn off. And that sounds bad, but it's like, that's some of the times that, it requires that.
Well, you know what? We just did this program with Tony Robbins.
Yes.
So we just wrapped it up.
Yeah.
Tony trained and taught about seasons.
Yes.
And he talks about there's winter, obviously winter. After that comes spring. After that comes, so we know all the seasons, right? So Tony talked about how us being in our 30s right now, we are very much in a summer season. When you're young and you're in high school and college, you're in the spring of your life. It's like all new and you really don't have a lot of, work that you need to put in because you're really like in a learning season,
You're
right?
just trying to figure out. Yeah.
Yeah, you're figuring out your identity. There's so much of like self-discovery in those years. And then you like get into your 20s and 30s and you're like, you are now in the summer season, followed by fall. And then when you're in your later years in life would be winter.
Like retirement.
Yeah, retirement years, right? So yeah, we're very much in the prime of our life. Like when you're working in your purpose and you're doing something that actually matters for the long run, like when you zoom out, you don't resent the hustle.
Yeah.
You don't resent the hard days, the long days, the blood, sweat, and the tears, the times where you fall flat on your face. You're like, okay, well, this is part of the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like I look back and I'm like, I have been burnt out before. I've also been on top of my game, winning and all the things. I've been in the peaks and the valleys.
Yeah.
I don't resent any of it.
No.
Because it's all brought me here. And that's the bigger picture we're talking about.
And you cannot, and I think so many people who are burnout and, claim the toxic hustle culture and whatnot, they are doing the opposite of what you just said. They're not aware of those things. They're not, they get lost in just the work of it and not the reasons of why you're doing it, Or
even the recognition of the work.
Yes.
Or like, look at me type of energy.
Yes.
Which is never going to really fulfill you.
Yeah.
And I think if you're like stuck in toxic hustle culture, you're probably doing it for outside validation, or you're doing it for other people to see you, the titles, the accolades. None of that really matters at the end of the day.
Yes.
You don't like build a legacy with accolades and titles.
No.
You build it with impact and purpose.
And you have to constantly be checking yourself and be aware of that, because we're all human. It's like if something good happens for us, like, you feel a little, your ego go a little bit, like we all get those feelings, but it's like, you have to keep them in check of like, why are you doing what you're doing?
So I think when it comes to hustling, obviously boundaries are important.
Yes.
And it's so healthy to have ebbs and flows.
Yeah.
And like I said, there's seasons and everything. And there can also be seasons within your month. There can be seasons within your week, right? So we really we hustle hard during the week and we really try to honor weekends.
Yeah.
We try to take time for just us and our family on the weekends where we're like unplugged. Nobody matters except for us and what we're doing. And maybe we're going out, we're going to brunch, we're going to the zoo, whatever.
Yeah.
But we have time for each other so that in the week we feel like we can get back into that rhythm of hustle. But boundaries are so important here. And I think that's something we've learned a lot lately too.
Yeah. And that's, maybe you're listening to this and you're about to enter a season of hustle, or you're so burnt out and from how it basically hurt you last time, you don't want to go back there. I would say you have to enter it with the boundary. Even us, we walked into this new phase of our life, starting a podcast, other businesses we're doing. It's like, we literally sat down and we're like, hey, we're not upset, but like, we're not satisfied with where we're at right now in life. We know we're going to have to hustle again. We know we're going to have to push ourselves. So like, let's set up these boundaries right now, especially like in our relationship and everything. Like these, you got to make the non-negotiables. Like you just said, like a time with your family, like that's a non-negotiable. Like these things, if you have those boundaries, you'll be able to really manage that hustle and work, because you have these, other pockets set up where you can take time off, where you can hang out with your kids, where you can. And it's like we sat down and we were like, hey, I want to get here with this, so it's going to require this amount of time. And that's, me being like, okay, well, I can shift here and then you shift there and then we'll make it work. And I won't resent you for working harder. You won't resent me for working harder. It's like the honest conversations and the boundaries.
Yeah.
Even if you're not married, or if you're single, you still have to set boundaries for yourself. Like, hey, on Tuesday, I'm going to work out, or on this day, I'm going to visit a friend. It's like, you still have to set boundaries.
Yeah. I think I work with so many women, and so many of them struggle with working for themselves because maybe it's new for them, or they don't have the boundaries set up in their life. Yeah. And I think another thing that really can end up being toxic is when you are working, but you don't have boundaries within your work. So what I mean by that is I'm working, I'm scrolling. I'm working, I'm watching, I'm not honoring my own boundaries of the things that I said I wanted. And this takes so much follow through. It takes so much. You have to keep the promises you make to yourself. This is not easy. This is why most people don't have a healthy relationship with their work, and they don't get things done while also being able to enjoy their life. Yeah. I can say that we hustle hard. We work really, really hard, but we also enjoy our life.
Totally.
We also really, really enjoy our time together, and we really enjoy our family time and the times when we're off. Yeah. Because when we're working, we're working.
Yeah.
And we're like showing up for it. And then when we're off, we're showing up for each other.
Yeah. I mean,
we're not perfect, but we do pretty good at it because we really are strong about this.
Yeah. I'm not like, it's even entering 2023. It's like, we always not joke around, but we're serious joke a little bit, but it's like, we pick a word for the year every time. I know a lot of people do this. And like, I remember we were on a walk and I was like, my word for this year is intentionality. Yeah. It was like, I want to be very intentional, because I knew we were entering a season of, going to be all over the place. Dawson, work, this podcast. It's like, whatever we're doing, it's going to be intentional. And it's like, I'm trying to stick to that.
My word for this year was create.
Yeah.
Create. So like,
that's what we're doing.
Creating, creating new businesses, creating new content, creating new income streams, literally. And creation takes so much intentionality, but it does take hustle. Like there's times when I am working late, or I'm quickly doing something on my phone, or doing a multitasking. I'm literally, before we started recording, I had to log into a meeting, then I had to mute, and then I had to start recording. Like, we just have to make it work sometimes.
And maybe this, I don't know, maybe this isn't a healthy tip, but
we're here for the real.
A tip I use for myself with, like, if I'm in a moment or a bad spot where I'm complaining, or I'm like upset that I didn't get the result I wanted, or whatever it is, I literally sit there and I'm like, okay, what would a David Goggins tell me? What would a Jordan Peterson say? What would these people like, if you brought your complaints to some of like the highest achieving people, what would they say to you?
Be like, that's cute.
They'd be like, get over it. Try another path. Do this. Change it up. Don't stop. Like, you know what I mean?
Probably curse you out and saying you're being a little baby back bitch.
But it's like, everyone looks up to these people. But
yeah, it's true.
They bash the way they did what they did. You know what I mean? Like, it's like they hustled their asses off to get where they needed to be. It's like, and maybe it was unhealthy, but then they probably found their boundaries on the way. And that's what we've done. And that's what other people need to do. You have to have systems and boundaries.
I think that also hustle and creating something takes urgency.
Totally.
And sometimes there's not balance when you have urgency. Yeah. When you have urgency, sometimes it's like hard, and it's go, and it's speed, and it's like trying to figure out what works. And so much of that is just like, it's messy.
Yeah.
And so I think we live in a world where, because of social media looking so pretty, and we see people and we see their chapter 10, we see their result, we see the video that they post, we see the car that they drive, we see the lifestyle that they have.
Yes.
We're like, it just must be so perfect for them. Like,
must be nice.
Right. Like, we're just like, it looks so polished. And you didn't see the long nights, the late nights, the tears, the failures, the like lost money. You don't see that stuff. So we have to like check ourselves and really fix our perception of success. Yeah. Because nobody tells athletes to sit down and stop working so hard. They know the harder that they work, the more their results are going to get. And that's honestly my mentality.
Yeah.
I know in my mind, the harder I work, the more results I'm going to get.
Well, in the heart
and it's finding that dance of like pushing myself to my limit.
Yeah.
So that I can sustain that.
Yeah.
And like keep coming back to that.
And deep down, it's like, even if you've been hurt by toxic hustle culture, it's like, if you have things you want to achieve, you're going to have to get back in the pool of hustle. Because it's like, look at like the Jeff Bezos. When he was in his garage, he was probably hustling his butt off to get what he needed done. And honestly, everyone around him, his friends, they were probably looking at him like, look at this guy. Like, in a garage, you think you're really going to start a business? You know how many haters he probably had, or like the negativity around him? And it's like, look what he's done. Dude. It's because he didn't give up and he kept going. And obviously he had to probably pivot along the way, but it's like.
Well, I'll say to that point, when we were living in our split level home in Charlotte, North Carolina, I was working my business from the ground up in our spider basement. It was literally an old home, so there was so many spiders in this house. Like literally we would find cockroaches and spiders in this house every single day. I was working in that environment. I was hustling so hard because I knew that if I hustled for a short amount of time, it's like everything's temporary, right?
Yes.
And that's the thing that makes us, I think that
so good.
It's like our biggest mistake is believing that everything is permanent.
Yeah.
It's like, no, it's temporary. I'm hustling right now. What is 1 year of hustle in the grand scheme of things? Who cares?
Yeah.
Put your head down, shut up, get to work. Like, and that was my mindset. I was like, if I can hustle my ass off right now for a year, for 2 years, what is that in the grand scheme of things? We are now at 30, almost 34 years old. And I started my current business, coming up on 6 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I did in this past 6 years what some people never do in their lifetime. And I'm not here to bash anybody, but I'm just saying that I did create something out of so much hustle and drive that it then allowed us to like actually have breathing room, actually get out of debt, actually like figure out what we want in our life. Yeah. And there's so many people who live their entire life and they never get to have that. Yeah. So hustle is necessary. I loved that hustle period of my life. Yes. It taught me so much. I made so many mistakes. I learned so much from it. But it literally made me who I am today.
Absolutely.
So don't bash the hustle. No. I think hustle is important in the beginning. It's a non-negotiable. I'm sorry. Was anyone telling me in my spider basement to stop hustling? No. Jeff Bezos, stop hustling. So you should just sit down. Yeah. Steve Jobs.
There's countless stories. Everyone you look up to has an insane hustle story. It's just that's the truth.
The thing is like knowing it's not permanent. Like, it's not permanent. It's a temporary thing.
And that's something I feel like we've practiced a lot lately over the past year, 2 years, is like zoom out. If things feel very tough, if things aren't like going exactly how you want, like zoom out. Why are you doing what you're doing? What, like, do you have to change something, implement a new system? Like, there's always a way around the obstacle.
Well, I also think like expectations versus reality, right? Totally. So it's like, ask yourself so if you zoom out and you say, this is what I want. Yeah. Where do you want to be in 5 years from now? We have always been super clear on what we want. We know we want to build our dream home. We want to raise our family on a farm. We know we want to have multiple properties. We're working on our Airbnb portfolio. Yep. We're working on so many different things that we can't wait to share all the things with you guys on the show. But whenever I've zoomed out, I'm like, expectation versus reality. Yeah. If I expect these things to happen, what is the reality of what it's going to take, right? It's going to take sacrifice. It's going to take some hustle. It takes us having overly communicating sometimes because
there was times we did not communicate and it got ugly,
because our boundaries sucked, right? Yes. So all of this stuff, just like it all comes together. And I think if you can fix your mentality on it's temporary, it's about boundaries, it's about self-awareness, and it's about what really do you want for your life, expectation versus reality. And I think like you can absolutely shift your perspective of hustle. You can learn to love the hustle. It's true. Because there's nothing that feels like better, in my opinion, than working hard for something and then seeing it happen and being like, I did that. Yeah. And
that's, for me, stuff always goes back to like fitness. And that's why I love working out and fitness so much, because to achieve any goal you want, there's no other way around it but to hustle in the gym. Like, it's the pain that, if you want to grow your muscles, you gotta, feel the effects of getting under the iron, like that type of thing, So it's like, it always goes back to that for me.
Yeah. And I know there's this like right now on TikTok, everyone's talking about soft girl era. Sure. And I get it. And here's one thing that I will say, being a female and understanding the difference between feminine and masculine energy. Yes. and being able to have that dichotomy of being in both. So when we talked about this yesterday in our walk, right? We were like, sometimes it's masculine energy that I have to show up in. And it's like, it's grindy, but then turning off work.
Yeah.
And literally turning off that masculine energy and being able to be in my feminine with you as a wife and as a mother. And it's funny because there's even times where you've said to me, like one time I was having a really hard time putting Dawson down to sleep. And he was really like just not wanting to go to bed. Yeah. And I was like so frustrated. I was like, what's going on? What's happening here? And later you reflected back to me and he's like, he probably felt your energy. Totally. And I was still like in that masculine energy.
Like you just got off a call or like just finished work.
When I like get off a meeting, I'm like,
come on, man, why aren't you going to sleep?
My child's like, mommy, like, can you just like chill out? Yeah. But yeah, it's like understanding as a woman, because obviously you're a male and with that masculine energy, that's where you live primarily. Yeah. And it's important to be able to, I think as a female, to be able to be in your feminine, because that's how we're designed. And that's a whole nother conversation that we can talk about one day, feminine and masculine energies. Yeah. But for me, I know that when I'm in work mode, Erica, I'm like, I'm hustle energy. I'm masculine energy. Yeah. But then I turn off and then let's bake bread. I want to cuddle my baby. I want to like cuddle my husband. I want to go on a walk. So I truly want to tell anyone who is afraid of that, maybe because you want to attract a strong man or because you're struggling in your relationship, you can have both. Yeah. It's an art, it's a dance, and it's figuring out how you can be in both energies, but you really can. And I can say that there's times where I like get off a call, and you've even said it to me before. It's like, I like turn off, and I'm like, okay, hi.
It's
like,
fun. I've even
let's
seen
cuddle
you
now.
I've even seen you like be on a call with, I don't know, someone, and you're not, I don't want to say tearing into them like it's a bad thing, but like you literally are like, this is what you got to do. Like you can do this, you can achieve this. And it's very masculine and strong. And then like the minute the call ends, you're like a puddle of mush walking over to the couch, like, hold me. Like that. It's like, it's so funny to watch sometimes.
It's true.
Yeah.
And that's the both and I think maybe we can close it there. Yeah. You know, you can have hustle and you can have rest. Yeah. You can have achievement and you can also have stillness. Yeah. I think you can have both things. And so neither is bad or good. It's what you assign to it. Yeah. And it's your perception of it. But I have found that learning to master the hustle instead of letting it master you has been the biggest game changer for me in my life. And because there's been seasons of my life where I'm like, I don't know how long I can do this. Yeah. This feels like a lot. I can't sustain this level of like energy. Yeah. And it's because I thought that was like how I needed to be all the time. Yeah. And I don't have to be that all the time.
Okay. So maybe this is more of a controversial take of that, but it's like in those seasons and people who are really affected by the hustle culture, at the end of the day, it is you who made choices to go where you were going, and you kind of put yourself in that, even if you don't want to admit it. But it's like, I think where I don't want to like annoyed, but it's like, stop blaming hustle. Hustle achieves so much. And it's like, start looking in the mirror. And that's, if you change things in the mirror, like if you change your systems, boundaries, implementation, how you want to do things, you will get around it. And you don't have to blame a movement, and and you can be a part of the hustle and achieve what you need to achieve.
Yeah, it's a very hot topic right now.
It is.
It's very marketable.
It is.
It's also very profitable to say, hey, let me tell you not to hustle. I'll teach you a better way. Yeah. Think about it. Really? You know? We're not here trying to sell you anything. We're literally just telling you.
Well, and at the end of the day, it's one of the oldest sayings. It's like, misery loves company. So if you didn't achieve something, or if you if your goals weren't met, and if you were going at them a very unhealthy way, it's pretty easy to turn around and be like, who else didn't achieve their goals? Come be with me.
Yeah, that's powerful.
And that's, I know some people don't want to hear that, but it's like, you can join that crowd and you're collectively going to achieve nothing, or you can change how you look at hustle and get after it.
Yeah, that's so powerful. Wow. Well, on that note, if there's anything you want to add to the conversation, head over to Instagram at Trust Issues Podcast. Let us know what you think about all of it. What boundaries are you implementing? How are you changing your relationship with hustle? We'd love to know. Let's get in on the conversation. We'll see you guys next time.